When we get a Sakamoto episode, you should strap yourself in and just enjoy the episode, because Sakamoto barely gets any screen time, and when he's on the screen, expect a good arc, because his shit-faced laugh of ha 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 ha, you know, that type laugh, is amazing. And I think we can all agree that Sakamoto, he needs a lot more screen time. He barely gets shown in the series, and seeing him actually have an arc, I'm happy. So, what is this episode about, and what is this arc we're getting into? So, majority of this arc is focusing on giving characterization and backstory to Sakamoto and Mutsu, and kind of how they found each other, and how they formed their trading corporation, where they're at right now. And I was quite surprised to see Mutsu as a space pirate. With the way the story was going at the beginning of the episode, it made me assume that she was captured, she was a slave, and she was going to be sold off. That's the way the story was going, and if you think about it when it comes to normal shonen, seinen, or any, manga, when you hear a story like that, you think of the girl or the guy, whoever's saying the story, was captured and is about to be sold off as a slave. That's what you would directly assume if you heard that dialogue, but this episode didn't do that. It went the unshonen path by having it to where Mutsu was the one that was selling people off as slaves. She was the captain. That's fucked up. Very fucked up. I gotta say, Gintama, that's fucked up. That was an incredible twist to the episode, because when it comes to some of the things, let's take One Piece for an example. One Piece, usually when you have a story like that, it's because the character in question that's, saying this was once a slave. But you see Gintama, the way it starts the story the exact same way, but it turns around and has it to where, our character that's saying the story was the one putting people in bad situations. So, yeah, instant comedy for the win right there. That's just great. Mutsu, I love your character even more after seeing your backstory fleshed out. Now, the thing is, okay, with this episode, besides what was going on with Mutsu, Sakamoto, he ended up in a similar situation that we normally see him in. Either he's about to be killed or he's thrown off, and you can't really take him serious. He was chucked into the ocean. He was just, in the ocean as a castaway, and all of a sudden you had it to where Mutsu found him, and they were going to pick him up and turn him into a slave and sell him off. Which eventually, one thing led to another, to where things were going down, the slaves were no longer valuable, they were going to kill off all the slaves, Sakamoto was one of them, and since, the captain also is going to be up for slaughter, Mutsu decided to say, hey, here's the keys, since you believe in trade, give and take, here you go, I'm giving, and then I guess you could take from me. And so right there, I like the way that was done with this episode. Now, getting the plot aside, that was the plot of the episode, the comedy. The main villain of the arc, okay, you can't even take a villain seriously if they're not even allowed to be given their introduction. In any shonen series or whatever, when a villain walks in, he walks in like a fucking badass, he's just walking. And when you don't see his head, you just see his shoulders and below, and you don't get to see his head until the final reveal when he gets introduced. Well, that's kind of how this episode was about 3 to 4 different times. You have it to where this dude was just walking on screen, and all of a sudden, you have it to where Sakamoto just pukes all in his face. The first time Sakamoto meets this dude, he pukes all in his face. And then later on in the future, with what's going on with present time, he pukes in this dude's face. And then when Mutsu, she was walking on board and she was kind of sick, she threw up all over this dude's face. So the guy never got to show his face at all. And even when he didn't have throw up on his face, you had to where the light was blocking his head. So I'm going to assume that this dude looks fucking butt ugly. I think this guy is probably going to look very ugly. Just judging by how Gintama is trying to hide his face, it's probably something very disturbing that you'd rather have censored. When Gintama is wanting to censor someone's face constantly, 3 to 4 times, there's a problem. This dude has something wrong with him, because last episode we had it where there was people shitting, just nothing but shit, okay? Just I don't think I need to get into that. This, on the other hand, when you have it to where a face is being censored constantly, that's just kind of insulting. Entering into a new arc that's focused around Sakamoto, so yeah, I can never get enough of his shit-face laugh, and Mutsu, yeah, I like you a lot more now after seeing what you did in the past. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.